Hey, what's going on? You're watching True the Fact with Smooth, and today we're going to be going over our good friend Will Smith. He released another apology. This time it was a video response, and we're going to break it down and analyze it. I'd love to know what you think, so feel free to jot down right here in the comments. And while you're here, please do subscribe and like the video. And a share helps the most. So go ahead and make this thing do what it does. So we're going to get into it. We'll go ahead and watch this video, and I'm going to tell you what I think. It's been a minute. Over the last few months, I've been doing a lot of thinking and personal work. You asked a lot of fair questions, and I just wanted to take some time to answer. So he's going to read out some questions. It comes in very dramatically. You know, his team is really good at cinematography, so let's see what's going on here.
Why didn't you apologize to Chris in your acceptance speech? I was fogged out by that point. It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris, and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out.
I think that's pretty fair what he said. He said it was all fuzzy and he was fogged out. If he was actually as emotional as he appeared that night, I could see why he wouldn't be able to make many more rational decisions to follow that. So we'll give him a fair shake at that, at least, because listen, he was apparently very emotional after what happened. Just going through that and experiencing it the way he experienced it, it was pretty wild. He had a lot going on. He had to be considering the amount of embarrassment, just what it's going to do to his name, how he ruined the night, and his legacy. Most importantly, carry on.
So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did, and that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, and I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment. So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. We had a great relationship. Tony Rock was my man, and this is probably irreparable.
Okay, so this is what I'll say about that. I'm pretty sure his family is really upset with Will Smith right about now. And I don't think that there's much that he can do about that. Until Chris Rock actually publicly forgives him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that the slap did very much to tarnish Chris Rock's name, in all honesty. If anything, the overwhelming majority of people will have more respect for him for handling it in the fashion that he did. So if Chris Rock decides at some point to forgive him, which I think he will, but it's not going to be on the terms of Will Smith. This is not what he's going to do. Whenever he feels like it is when he's going to do it. You're not going to be able to do it on your own terms, Will Smith. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to wait around. But when he decides to do that, if and when, I feel like the family of Chris Rock will be soon to follow. They probably won't be bosom buddies, but at least if Tony Rock was his man's, then he probably will be able to repair that relationship to a certain extent. There are people who had fallouts and different things, and it brought them closer. I've experienced this myself, so it's absolutely not impossible. But Chris Rock will absolutely have to forgive him first in order for any of this to be able to transpire. Carry on.
I spent the last 3 months replaying and understanding the nuances and the complexities of what happened in that moment. And I'm not going to try to unpack all of that right now, but I can say to all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment. There,
Well, guess what? Guess what? This is what I'll say. Your knee-jerk reaction is part of you, right? And that part of you absolutely thought that it was okay to react this way. Um, we're going to get into what else I think about that and why he did this in a moment, but you can't say that no part of you thought that was the right way. Some part of you did. That's why you did it.
there's no part of me that thinks that's the optimal way to handle a feeling of disrespect or insults. After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. It's like, I made a choice on my own from my own experiences, from my history with Chris. Jada had nothing to do with it.
All right. Notice he nearly laughed at that point. This is a very serious video. I don't think that there's any point where you should have nearly laughed or did laugh or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's a very serious moment. And I don't think that that was necessary. There was no place for that and this type of a speech. That's just what I'm going to say about that. And secondly, if you want to say that Jada Pinkett Smith had no influence over what you did, that's a lie. Because in all honesty, you were laughing at the joke before you saw her face. When you saw her reaction to it, and you know what it was that you were going to have to deal with when you go home and what the impression was going to be, then you decided to react the way that you did. Whether it was inadvertently or not, you did what you did based off of her reaction. If she did not react the way that she did, you would not react the way that you did. And I'm going to tell you something real quick. I play spades, and the best partners are people who hang around each other a lot because they know how to communicate in ways that people who are outside of that relationship would not understand. She's able to communicate to you how she feels and what she wants you to do. Maybe you misinterpreted it, but there was some sort of communication between her and you before you did what you did. That's undeniable. It's on camera. Everybody saw it. So carry on.
I'm sorry, babe. I'm going to say sorry to my kids and my family for the heat that I brought on all of us. To all my fellow nominees, this is a community. It's like I won because you voted for me. And it really breaks my heart to have stolen and tarnished your moment. I can still see Questlove's eyes. It happened on Questlove's award, and it's like I'm sorry really isn't sufficient.
Okay. So, I mean, this sounds really good. He is taking accountability for what he did. I have no idea of what the relationship dynamics are between the people who that happened to. So I don't want to say too much about what I really can't give a good inference on. But it at least sounds good. He is holding himself accountable, which you should do as a man when you make a dire mistake like this. But I'm sure Questlove in particular with it being on his award, that's what he has to remember forever for it. And of course, sorry will never be sufficient. And that's understandable. And I'm sure Regardless of what the reasons are for Will Smith taking the time to do this right now, I'm pretty sure he does feel very terrible about what transpired that particular night. And I'm sure he wishes he could take it back.
What would you say to the people who looked up to you before the slap, or people who expressed that you let them down? So there's two things. One, disappointing people is my central trauma. I hate when I let people down.
That part. Here we go. This this right here is actually narcissism. This right here is narcissistic. And I'll tell you why. That's his central trauma, is what he said. He hates to disappoint people, right? He hates to let people down. And I've looked at some of the material that he put out himself. Very compelling. He talked about how this started where he did not want to disappoint his father. His father had expectations of him and he didn't want to let him down, right? And it followed throughout his life. And he doesn't want to be seen in this type of light. He doesn't want to be perceived in the way that he is perceived right now. He's worked his entire life to become the image that you've been able to see for, a couple decades, right? And this right here just ruined everything that he's worked so hard for. So I say that to say this apology is not for Chris Rock. It's not for Tony Rock. It's not for Chris Rock's mother. It's not for the fans. This is for Will Smith. This is because Will Smith can't stand to be perceived in this light. And that's why I say this is narcissistic, because this is all self-motivated. It is what it is. And I'm not saying whether it's good or bad, but to be honest, that right there just lets you know why he did this video, what the purpose of this video was. The purpose of this particular video is for you to perceive Will Smith as who you did before. Carry on.
So it hurt. So it hurts. It hurts me psychologically and emotionally to know I didn't live up to people's image and impression of me. And the work I'm trying to do is I am deeply remorseful, and I'm trying to be remorseful without being ashamed of myself, right? I'm human, and I made a mistake, and I'm trying not to think of myself as a piece of so I would say to those people, I know it was confusing. I know it was shocking. But I promise you, I am deeply devoted and committed to putting light and love and joy into the world. And, if you hang on, I promise we'll be able to be friends again.
And that's it. So here's what I'll say about that entire ordeal. I don't feel like Will Smith is a bad person. I don't think that he deserves every bit of this backlash that he's getting. I feel like he's dealing with a lot of things psychologically. Much of it is what I believe his wife is doing to him. Whatever happened in his childhood and trying to live up to expectations, not being able to have a normal life. Being a celebrity is a tough job. trying to project this image that's not really human. It's not human. What people expect you to do as a celebrity is not human. You expect them to be a certain way that you yourself know you could never be able to maintain. It's impossible. The image that is expected of them, and he's trying his best not to let people down. So I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he made a horrible mistake, and it was a poor choice. But at the end of the day, he's a human. If people watched every moment of your life, the things that you say behind closed doors, when nobody that you don't want to hear is listening, those intimate moments, just imagine if people knew everything that was going on with you. How do you think the world would perceive you if they knew every intimate detail about you? Think of that for a second before you decide to judge people. So I say all that just to explain what the situation is. You know, we want to break down the psychology of it. We discuss mental health on this channel, and it's important to understand why people exhibit these types of behaviors. And it's very important for us to be able to recognize these types of behaviors. So that's the entire purpose of it. It's not to bash Will Smith. I do believe that this was a selfish video, yes, but I don't think that he may recognize that that's what it is. He feels like it's the right thing to do, but it's the right thing to do for him. Deep down, his purpose of it was to better his image than what it is right now after this particular incident. He's already given an apology, and he realizes Chris Rock is not going to apologize. He wants Chris Rock to apologize because he realizes that once Chris Rock will apologize or forgive, then other people will follow. And that's what he ultimately wants. And I understand why he wants that. Who would want to be seen in such a light? Because pretty sure he's not a really bad guy. But if that's what people want to focus on, then yeah, you look like a really bad guy. And the society today is so fickle that they will forget everything that you did that was good and remember just this one last thing that you did. That's just what kind of a world we live in. And it's very difficult when you can't turn on the TV. You can't like take a moment. And if he opened up his phone and looked on any social media, if he went on YouTube at all, and that's all that you see. When you type in Will Smith, you see negativity now. You've worked your entire life to do things better, and then this happens. So I can understand, even though, like I said, it's a bit narcissistic, I can understand why he would do something like this. And I can understand why many of us would be on a PR campaign to get the name back that we've used our whole lives to earn. And that's what I have on that today. Leave your thoughts, comments down. I will try to communicate back to you as many as I can possibly answer if you drop a comment down below. Also, please do like and share and subscribe. And until next time, stay hungry, my friends. Never thirsty.